shout. Away the Irish, shout. Away the Irish, shout. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. That's right. For that, you're not dreaming. You're not dreaming. For the second time today, welcome in and welcome back, everybody, to a Notre Dame football 2023 pregame party edition of the Always Irish After Dark show. This is the one we've all been waiting for, everybody. Even this morning was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was still the day before the game. But nothing's quite like that Friday night before Notre Dame's first game. If you were a Notre Dame fan, there's just something special about it. You feel it in the air. You feel it in your soul. You just feel it. It creeps up on you. And every Friday before the season starts, I struggle. I pace around. I don't know what to do with myself. There's no answers to my questions. I'm looking at the clock, waiting for the hours to get to the first game. Why in the hell not we all do this together? Why not all do it together? We're all in this together. It's beautiful. Hey, quiet, Domer guy. Don't be giving away any of those show secrets. Take it easy. You're giving away. Woo! The phones are popping tonight already. Look at this. All right, let's get into this, everybody. First off, thank you for being here. If any of you are spending 2 streams with me today, man, I love you. Man, I love you. I got to tell you that. Anybody doing that, I appreciate it. What are you talking about, Pat? What are you talking about? Pat's telling me he's not connected. What is going on?
No, I am connected. They can hear me. Wow. Zoom out.
Wait a second. You're in here. What do you mean?
That's what I was saying. I was in the show. Usually you wait to bring me in, but my thing was already saying I was in the show.
Oh, man, I didn't want you in here. You're out. No, I'm just kidding.
Now that's what I was trying to tell you. I'm already in the show.
I'm in the show. I'm like, what? What are we doing? I thought you were playing a game on me. All right, there goes the surprise. Pat's here. Let me.
Why is it? How is it a surprise? You told them this morning.
Oh yeah, no, but people were like, I could hear Pat breathing. Where
right, that's what. I looked down and it said I'm in the show.
3 minutes in and the show got messed up. I could hear you breathing. I'm like, something's messed up here. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Let me get through my introduction. We have Pat. There's a bunch of calls, so we need to be good about, giving the people their time the night before the game. But I have not really had a chance to talk to you about your thoughts about Navy in depth, the keys to the game. I want to get your synopsis quickly, and then we'll see what the callers have. There's a bunch of them, and I want to honor that and give that time that it deserves and let the people have a voice.
If there's a bunch of them, then if somebody has a point that they desperately need to make, I know we already saw a $1-2 holler. If you want to jump that line, drop Johnny a holler with your area code so you can do so.
All right. And the other thing that I want to announce, now that the season started with the phone calls, the mornings may be the same, that there isn't as much call volume and everybody could have more time. When we're getting in a situation like tonight and tomorrow after the game, everybody needs to understand, no offense, we need to move quicker. And that's my responsibility. I'm not being rude, but I can't give people 15 minutes anymore. Go on a monologue like it's a Tuesday in May. Can't do it. So everybody's going to have a few minutes, get your main points out, and we're going to let as many people be involved as possible. All right, the introductions. Obviously, you can find a program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe. I appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. Notifications on. That way you alerted every time a new episode drops. I know you don't want to miss it. Twitter or X. I'm not calling it X. That's just weird. It sounds like a porn site. I'm not calling it X. Twitter. Search bar always Irish rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails always irishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You could get it. The call-in lines. Seems like people know it. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Fighting Irish Wire. Ooh, baby. We got all sorts of articles out about the game. It's a beautiful thing. We have different people covering just different aspects of it. Check it out every day. Also, Johnny Boy getting modern on one and old school on the other. Always Irish Inc. on Instagram and Always Irish Inc. on Facebook. I am trying to post there every day. So add that. You could get me on Twitter and then I'm over there too. All right. So let's get a couple super chats on the screen. I'm going to say my little thing and then we'll get into this. And I want to give the callers
what? You see Jay Carr's comment?
No,
I know the call-in number like I know the call-in number like I know the Empire phone number.
Oh man, that old guy with those glasses, that cartoon, that was beautiful, man. That and Victory Auto Wreckers, that's always in my mind too.
Right,
the guy opens the rusty car door and it falls off, and he's got all of his keys on his belt, and he's like, "Man, my door fell off." Anyways, that might be a Chicago thing. That only we had that commercial. All right, here's where I'm going to start, and Pat, I know this is going to mean something to you as well. This is a very special night. Every year it's a special night for all college football fans, but Notre Dame fans, there's just something nostalgic and romantic about that first game and all the excitement, all the buildup, the anticipation, the hopes, the dreams, all of it. And I want to mention everybody that's Notre Dame fan, usually it's family stuff, your grandpa, your dad, whatever like that. This time of the year, especially this night, always reminds me of the people that we love, that love Notre Dame, that are no longer with us. And everybody, if you're a diehard Notre Dame fan, you have somebody that love Notre Dame. You grew up, they taught you Notre Dame, you watch games together, whatever it is, who's no longer with us. And I know for me, it's Grandpa Kennedy and our friend Tyler, whose jersey this is. And died the night of a blue and gold game a while ago, and it was just a bad deal. And every first game, I wear this jersey that came out of his closet. And I have a lot of Notre Dame friends that have lost their dads recently, and that's a big part of their relationship. And while we have all this excitement, there is a part of that that's hard for a lot of people. And it's a big damn deal to me that I mentioned that. And I'm wearing this jersey for Tyler, and he's in our hearts forever. And I just wanted to put that out there. And Pat and Tyler were very, very close as well. We're in the same circle. And I wanted to get that out. It's important. Anything to add to that, Pat?
No.
That's a good answer.
The last time we did this, it didn't go well.
So we're gonna leave it at that. But everybody, if you're a Notre Dame fan, you have somebody that this applies to, and I want everybody else to know that I realize it's hard for some people who have lost a dad or it's their first season without a dad, and so it's a big deal to me to mention that. All right, now that I got the sappy stuff out of the way, Pat, I'm gonna start with this, and I'm gonna throw it to you. And I'm going to show the chats, and then the phone banks are lit up. So we're going to have to get to that quick. So me and you are going to have to be quick, and we'll go with them. Here's what I'm going to say, Pat. I'm going to start with this. Let's get the super chats up first. Here's where I'm going to start. All of America's excited about football being back, okay? This is week 0. This is not week 1. And that is a big deal to me for the following reason. That means tomorrow, Notre Dame is going to have center stage in America. Everybody in America that misses football is going to tune in to watch Notre Dame play tomorrow. It is the first major game of the year, college or pro. Everybody who likes football is going to tune in. And over half of that group hates Notre Dame and wants us to lose. And that is what they are hoping starts their season and their year. I need Notre Dame to give those people reason to change the channel early in frustration, because Notre Dame's winning this game and there's no point of even waiting for an upset and seeing Notre Dame win. This is a big opportunity for Notre Dame to show they're going to be different this year. And they might actually have a capable offense that could do more than one thing. It's a big opportunity. Notre Dame is center stage on America's TV tomorrow. And I need it to look good and be good and to open some eyes and let people know this Notre Dame team's going to be different. We're flying under the radar nationally and all that. It's a perfect setup. That's how I'm going to start this. Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, well, I totally get your point. Yes, everyone's eyes are going to be on Notre Dame, but Notre Dame is always in a lose-lose situation. If Navy plays them tough and Notre Dame pulls out a close one, Notre Dame's going to get dumped on. If Notre Dame jumps all over Navy and beats them big, the narrative is going to be Navy sucks.
Yep. That's always been it. Look at this, Erica, with the $2 holler. I'm ready for some Fireball. Remember when it was 9 a.m.? She pulls up with the kids, throws that bottle of Fireball on the table at the blue and gold tailgate. I love it. It was a pro move by Erica, and I hope to see you in about 4 weeks, by the way. That's beautiful. Pat, you couldn't be more right. And anybody making arguments, if they come up about not playing Navy anymore, despite the World War II and all that history, I've always said that it's a lose-lose. Even if it's a good Notre Dame team, like the ones that were legitimately tough and had a quarterback who could do a lot, even in that dynamic, you're right. Like, you beat them, you get no credit because it's Navy. And if they beat you, it doesn't matter how good they are, you still lost to Navy.
It doesn't even have to be Navy. It could be a San Diego State. It could be Marshall. It could be anybody. That Notre Dame is not going to get respect in the beginning. Notre Dame will not get respect until they beat Ohio State, they beat USC, they beat Clemson. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the games look like. If they're bitch slapping people all over the place, they're not going to get the respect until they play those teams.
Yeah. Nope, you're right. And that's the position Notre Dame's been in for a long time. You know, even with Kelly, they were able to beat a lot
since
of
1993. Since 1993, Notre Dame has received no respect.
Yeah. Now, here's why this year's significantly different than all the recent ones. Man, Pat, I like to think with Sam Hartman, everything that's possible within the Notre Dame team is raised a few notches this year. I just think we're not used to a quarterback with this skill set and experience that you trust to be able to do what you need to do to have a real offense. I feel like that is the big difference here. Look at the difference entering game one with this guy than Buckner, and you're praying he could not get killed and somehow run an offense against Ohio State week one. This is a whole different dynamic. I feel like Hartman's presence changes what's possible. Do you agree with that, or am I overblowing his skill set?
I don't know, John. I mean, have you actually watched this guy play yet?
Yeah. I already blew out my vocal cords yelling about that one early in the week.
No, obviously, and this is kind of my first key. I told you I wrote keys to the game. This is my first key to the game. Hartman, he doesn't bring you don't bring a guy like Sam Hartman into Notre Dame to spread the offense and try to put up 400 yards and 6 touchdowns a game from the quarterback. You bring a guy in so a defense cannot stack the box, because that's what happened last year. They just started stacking a box. Notre Dame, the only thing Notre Dame could do is run. So Hartman is a guy to keep it honest. He is keeping the defense honest just by his presence, and then hopefully by his play as well as we start to go through the season. So what I want from Phil Hartman, I always do that. What I want from Sam Hartman.
That's good. You're old. Just the fact that guy's name is in your brain, you're an old man.
I know. But what I want from him, and just what I want to see, is a balanced offense. And balance doesn't mean 50-50. Balance means it's usually like a 60-40. The passing game has more yards. But that's what I want to see. I just want to see a balanced offense. I don't want us to go away from the running game. I still want it to be a power running team. I love to run the football. My favorite game last year was the Clemson game, not because we did it to Clemson, but just because they put 8 guys. I know.
Especially now he doesn't.
They put 9 guys in the box in the Clemson game, and Notre Dame said, "We don't care. We're still going to run it down your throats."
Yeah.
That's my favorite kind of football.
Yeah.
But
Well, and
you
Pat,
can't do that most of the time.
the other thing is, I've been going over those awful stats from the second half last year where Notre Dame couldn't move the ball and went backwards and 3 and out on every play and then an intercept, all of that.
Yeah.
And some of that's offensive line. Some of that's also the quarterback kind of turtled. He got overwhelmed in the moment. I am convinced if Navy's going to bring everybody at Hartman, they might get him a time or two, but he's going to get them, and it should be big.
Yeah,
he's he's going to know where the bailout is. He's going to dump it off to Tyree behind the line, and he's gone. Hartman's going to figure that out in a way Pine couldn't in 4 lifetimes.
Yeah, it's a completely different dynamic. I'm not going to say he's not going to get sacked. Anything's possible, but it should be, even if they're bringing pressure. I think Notre Dame's offensive line is just much better than what Navy has to offer. It's especially with those 2 tackles. So I'm not concerned about him as far as getting hit. And if they are coming, he's going to burn them. He is just going to burn them.
Yep. Pat, I'm turning you up. I'm turning you up on my volume to help when the calls come. Just so you know. I went in and did that. So I feel like that's a big differentiator this year. I also do wonder, Gerard Parker, what the approach is going to be early. I'm just curious to see how they're going to want to come out the first couple series. If they want to maybe establish Estime, see if they could get some push and ease into the game that way and force Navy to come up, or they got Hartman and you don't bring the guy in here to just hand the ball off every down. Are they going to come in here and get aggressive and try and wing it around and take advantage? Notre Dame's going to have physical mismatches if they want to throw the ball everywhere. I'm very curious, just pure curiosity to see how he wants to approach those first couple offensive series.
So, okay, guys, John and I did not tell John my keys to the game, but this goes into my second key of the game. Notre Dame needs to maximize their possessions. When you're playing an option team, you have to maximize your possessions. You have to every time you have the ball against Navy, you need to score. And an occasional field goal is okay, but you have to get touchdowns.
That's what I was going to say.
Because that puts the pressure on Navy to have to go quicker, and that gets them even more out of sync on their offense. So you have to maximize your possessions. You have to score. So my thing here is, especially with this new rule, everyone's talking about Navy controlling the clock and putting pressure on Notre Dame. Notre Dame could flip that script. If they're not giving Navy enough time, if Notre Dame's sucking the clock down themselves and they're scoring touchdowns, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Navy. So I think Notre Dame's got to flip the script there. They have to maximize possessions. They have to control the football. They have to control the line of scrimmage, all basic football stuff. And they have to run the football, and then they have to do play action, and they have to catch them on blitzes. That's where I think the passing game comes in. And it's not complicated. It's really not complicated. So
yep. Nope. I like that at all. Or I like that a lot.
At all.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I just think that here's the other thing that's going to change this year, Pat, is with Hartman's ability to throw the ball, Notre Dame should be able to score more and quicker. It's not going to be these drives where for Notre Dame to score, it's got to be a 12-play drive, plodding down the field, whatever it is, get your first down. We're going to be able to do a lot more, a lot quicker, and in a lot less time overall throughout the year, not just Navy, because Hartman's capable of maybe giving you the chunk plays that we haven't got. And this is what I need people to think about. When the only way you're scoring touchdowns is like a 15-play drive or something, everything has to go right. One hold and you're back 10 yards, and then it kills that drive. Like everything has to go right more times in a row for that to work. The margin of error here, if you could get big chunk plays, shorten some fields, you're in a better spot. So I expect that from Notre Dame.
Oh, absolutely. They're actually, Hartman gives them such an advantage that they haven't seen in such a long time about being able to control the ball, control the clock, move down the field efficiently, never get put in a position where you got to turn around and call timeout because your quarterback sees something he doesn't know. He's going to be able to read a defense. So he puts you in that great situation. But then all of a sudden you say, hey, we got to spread out and move fast. You got a guy that can spread out and move fast. He should be that at least dynamic of a player to be able to handle those both sides of that equation.
Yeah. And so I think that covers offense. Let's talk about the defense a little bit. It's everybody talks about it. It's fairly basic at rudimentary. How you stop the option, generally speaking, know your assignments, your discipline, your keys, your recognition. All of that is important. Sealing the edge, wrapping up. That's a big thing with Navy. So many of these years you get an arm on them, but you don't tackle them. And the guy, like all of that. So what do you want to see from Notre Dame this year? How about have an eye on the fullback? That would be good. How about nail the quarterback every time? That would be good. Like basic
so that's my
option stuff.
Right. So here, especially when you're dealing with the quarterback they're playing, he didn't play last year, right? Is everything I read. So the option is easy, especially when you got a new guy playing in his first game on the stage like he's playing in. You hit the quarterback. The option, when I was in high school, we had a coach, and I'm not going to say it the way he said it, but in high school you see the option a lot, and he said just hit the quarterback. You hit him every time in an option. You blow him up. You blow him up. You blow him up. You blow him up. You make him worried about getting hit, where he starts pitching quicker, and then eventually you're going to get a ball on the turf.
Yep.
So the option is you got to trust your eyes, you got to watch your keys, but you got to hit the quarterback every play. You just got to hit the quarterback every play. And I'm sorry, Notre Dame's two defensive I hope everyone realizes that Navy offensive linemen can only be so big because they have to be able to fit inside of submarines and aircraft carriers and battleships. So they can only be so big. They can't have 300-pound guys. Notre Dame really needs those two guys in the middle. They really need to just be able to squeeze that fullback out and not let that guy just fly right through. That was so stupid to watch when you got such a decisive physical advantage on the offensive lineman and you're getting pushed and the fullback is just blowing right through the middle.
Yeah. And the other mistake you can make against Navy sometimes is defensively. If you end up in more of a reactive situation, you're behind. Like the times when Notre Dame defends Navy right, they're cracking through the line, disrupting the timing, penetrating, they're throwing off the rhythm, they're doing all that, not reacting too late to what's happening on the next level. Like you got to get in there, you got to penetrate, you got to disrupt. Andrew Gilmore, big update on Navy. Apparently they'll run the triple option, but out of a pistol formation. What's your reaction to that?
It's still the option. It's just trickery. They're just trying to make it look trickery, and then they're giving themselves a little bit more room in the backfield. But you know what? When you're 7 yards behind this line of scrimmage instead of 4, it's easier to get a tackle for a loss. So this actually what this does, and Andrew will appreciate this because I know he's big on the linebacker play. This makes it puts a lot more on your linebackers because they have to read that key quicker, and they have the ability to blow through that line and get to those running backs in the backfield.
Now, here's something else. I mentioned this on one of the morning shows, and then we're going to get to the callers. Don't hang up. There's a big log of them. We're getting right to you, I promise. Here's something else to note. I know these linebackers take heat, and I've been a part of that. I don't think they played to their potential as a group last year, and it was disappointing. However, Bertrand is a very instinctual linebacker, not the fastest guy, but he is praised for knowing where to be, knowing having that anticipation, all that. And he's a good run defender. And last year he was injured in the warm-ups of the Navy game. And he was not able to play. And they had to switch guys around and throw people in there with no practice right before the game. And maybe I'm hearing a lot of Notre Dame media going, I know you fans don't appreciate him because he isn't flashy, but you're going to like having him in there clogging up and getting everybody else set up.
This is a game that Bertrand should excel in. You should hear his name a lot tomorrow. You should hear his name a lot. And the question is, are you hearing his name for a tackle after a 2-yard game or a 7-yard game? That's what it comes. He's going to get a lot of tackles, but where is he bringing the runner down at?
Yeah. I just think that could help. And I saw an interview with him earlier in the week, and he was saying, they asked, what is the Navy prep like and all that? It's a unique kind of preparation and all that. And Bertrand actually said, I love playing Navy because if you do your homework and know what's going on, the play comes right to you. He said, if you know your keys and what you're looking for, the plays come to you and you just have to make them. You just need to make sure you and your guys are in the right spot and it all comes to you. What's Kent saying? Kent,
Yeah, I know. All week, John Holland,
size and physical advantage. Now he got Pat talking that nonsense. Yeah, size matters to a degree,
First of all,
partial linemen are not bigger than Navy or stronger. Kent got you. Got him.
Kent, I literally just said Navy players can only be so big. They have a requirement on their size. So Notre Dame players can have an easy 35-pound advantage on them. So it should matter. It should matter. If you could be that much bigger and that much stronger, it should matter.
Yeah.
Get after them. Push them guys, push them around. Who's the guy, the power lifter guy, the real strong defensive lineman you were talking about him this morning?
Mikey Poles from the morning show.
No, we're talking about the one guy's bench. We're talking about the one guy's bench. I think it was Gilmore that might have been doing it. Don't matter.
Riley
like
Mills?
If you got a guy that's
Riley
if you got a guy that's if you got a guy that's strong, there's no reason he shouldn't be able to clog that all up. Just being that big and that strong. So
yeah. And the other thing, Pat, here's another. I don't know how much this matters. It's the last thing I'm going to ask Pat. Then we're getting to the callers. Okay, there's a bunch of them. Everybody, we're going to have to go quicker. No offense, it's the fair thing to do. Let me ask you this, and I've been struggling with this all summer and all week, Pat. I want to know, Notre Dame having the whole month of August to prep for anything Navy wants to do, I think is way different than playing them week 7, no bye, and you just have to have 2 or 3 practices to get in the Navy routine, and then you go play them. I am saying if you have a month, I am not open to these defensive lapses. You should have everything memorized of every dumb option thing there is. I want to see a tighter operation with a month to prepare, playing them week 1. Is that fair, or am I overdoing what that means?
No, I think it's very fair, because that was something that you used to see when they would play Navy in the middle of the season. They would take a day out of practice every week and review the option. You could focus on it. You could get it taken, get it down, get everybody ready to go, and have all the assignments. So yeah, you had straight focus on this. You should be absolutely prepared for this. No excuses.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Navy's not going to get their plays. They are. I mean, they have kids who are talented that are gonna do what they can do. And you're going to have kids on Notre Dame's side who might miss a leverage or be a tad slow to a play, or tad slow to react. So Navy's going to make their plays, but it's the whole point is that Notre Dame's going to make a whole lot more than them.
Yeah. Beefeater asked, John, after all the singing this morning, do you have a duet lined up for us tonight? I like that. Just came into my head this morning. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
When you were first of all, I don't sing, so nobody just don't. Well,
neither do I.
I know. Yeah. When you were doing that, my wife was in the room and she's like, "Oh my God, is he happy? I've never heard John happy before. He's almost giddy."
You know what? Can I have one day,
even
Lauren, without misery? Give me one day.
Even when we're like, John, I mean, think about all the times in college where we're like out having a good time together and like everything goes right, and everyone still thinks you're just miserable.
You know why? It's because I'm always looking for the trouble, Pat. I'm always looking for the next problem. All right?
That's true. We found it quite a bit.
I'm always a worrier. I'm always looking for the next issue.
Yeah. All right. I got 2 more things. Okay. Turnovers. None on offense.
Well, you just can't afford it. You can't afford that.
It's not even that. It's not even that. It just you can't do it. You are playing at what should be an inferior opponent. You can't turn the ball over to an inferior opponent.
Yeah.
I think Notre Dame has 2 defensive touchdowns tomorrow.
Wow.
I think you're going to see a scoop and score in the backfield.
Yep.
And then when Navy's pressing, they're going to be throwing at Hart and Morrison. Yep. And one of those guys is going to take one to the house.
Man,
it's going to be too easy for them.
It's funny you mention a ball on the ground. I've been hearing about their quarterback issues. They had one guy that they wanted to kind of start, and then he had to take summer classes and wasn't able to be at any of the practices. So then they transitioned to Horvath and Levittai, and the timing and the rhythm, and there's some Coach Ken's gone, and there's some new stuff they're putting in the offense, and then they're trying to practice this and figure out what quarterback can run what. It all makes me envision, Pat. You had a little rain in there, a little Irish mist in there. You penetrate. I'm picturing one of them pitches being on the ground, rolling around back there. And I need somebody to pick that baby up and go.
Yeah. And then my last one is special teams. For the first time that I can remember since Lou Holtz was the coach, we actually had special teams last year.
Yeah, it was actually in a good way.
Right. It was at you when the special teams came on the field, you were excited.
Special under Napoleon, but it was a different kind.
So now that coach is gone, I'm not saying that we have to block 4 punts, but we want to make sure that at the very least, there's no mistakes on special teams. We don't give anything up on special teams, that everything goes right, that there's no backpedaling in this unit whatsoever.
As far as the kicking goes, place kicker and, kickoff guy, punter, they all got big legs, I've heard. And that's a good sign. The other thing, Pat, is this is my final thing, and I'm going to the phones, I promise. I've been really curious since, we had that great special teams year last year, and then the coach left for the NFL. He's with the Colts, I believe. And one of my big questions was, are we going to have a huge drop off there, or am I confident special teams are still going to be valued and stressed the way that they were last year? And it seems like in camp, they worked on it hard. Freeman still wants it worked on in practice, unlike Kelly, where he didn't want to deal with it. And they still got some starters in those units that are, some coaches.
That was a big thing. That was, I think, probably the biggest thing. Yeah. Putting starters into unit. Like that's a Saban thing. That was a Pete Carroll thing. Pete Carroll loved having his starters on special teams because he knew you were going to make a difference with it. So that's what you got to do. You have to sprinkle them in there. I'm not saying every guy has to be a starter, but you have to put your most talented people on the field. Special teams is important. It can win football games, and it definitely has lost football games.
Yeah. And so I'm fairly confident it's still being prioritized and worked on, and I've been assured that unit should be good. I mean, is it good? Do the numbers tell you you're going to get that many block punts? That might be a little tough to replicate, and tough. I don't expect that. But be a plus unit.
Yep.
It is absolutely not. Hey, it is a little depressing, but it is not lost on me that the most consistent plus unit all year last year, one offense, one defense, it was special teams. Those guys were making winning plays every game, and it never wavered. Every game they were making a play, it seemed like, and it was a big damn deal. All right, Pat, we got a bunch of calls. Let's see what people got. Let me look at the log here and see.
Is Dr. John on the line? Is he still drinking? It's like 2 a.m. there.
It'd be like 2 or 3 a.m. there.
Yeah. I'm saying he might have a peg leg. You don't know. He might just be putting them down.
He's got to be in bed by now. If he was drinking in the morning, my God. All right. So everybody get to your main
I loved it when he called his brother an asshole.
Yeah, I know. I know. Anybody?
That's not something like I would do.
I know. And for you, it's like, but which brother? That could apply to all of them. Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, 3 of them.
Yeah, exactly. Which one? You're going to have to find a different insult for each brother. Callers, get to your main points, your competencies, concerns, what you're looking to see tomorrow, what you don't want to see tomorrow. Or you could just call and say, John, I'm excited and I'm drinking beer and I want to be with you and Pat. Like, this is a family now, man. This Always Irish Nation thing is growing and more people want to be a part of it. And it's a beautiful thing. All right. We're going to go to the calls. Keep it short or get the boot. 818, what's going on?
John, I'm excited. I'm drinking beer, and I just want to be with you and Pat.
There you go. I like that. Thank you, sir. That's very nice. At the same time or separate?
It just depends. But I do have to say one thing.
Depends on how much we've all drank, right?
Thanks for calling in. We're going to the next caller now.
Or, other things could be in play too, or what we all smoke.
Oh, shit.
God, this is off to a great start. This is off to a great start. We went from a family-friendly show to this conversation. I really know how to pick the first call. Good job.
Turn Grandma's picture to the wall.
Oh, God.
All right. It's like, all right. This is coming straight. This is important, John. And Pat, this is very, very important.
All right.
This is coming straight from Bob. This is coming straight from Bob Davey, okay? We just got to find a way to beat Navy. Find a way to beat Navy.
Come
Do you
on.
remember that quote? Come on.
Just find a way. Like you're acting like they're a 5-star recruiting juggernaut there. We gotta find a way, baby.
I know there are people that remember that audio quote, man. And that I remember Darren Pritchett used to play that on WSBT a lot, like as a joke, whenever we would get to Navy Week, and he would play that Bob Davey quote, we got to find a way to beat Navy.
Yeah.
So that's Steve's game, John. Just find a way to beat Navy. This is so not a off the wall comment, but that it was funny. You had that Breaking Bad short that you did, right?
Yeah.
And then you had that incident that happened with The Fly for about 2 minutes on your show.
Yeah.
And you remember that notorious episode that was directed by Ryan Johnson?
Yeah.
Who directed the episode of The Fly, where the whole episode looking for the fly.
Yeah.
And I kind of connected those two things. I didn't know if that was accidental or if that was just a coincidence or what, but that was it made me think of that, John.
I like that you pieced it all together. Oh. Can I ask you this? I want to know what are you thinking for tomorrow? What do you want to see? What do you not want to see?
I want to, listen, I said before, I think the offense is not going to come out looking this is my prediction. I don't think that we're going to be as impressed. I think we're going to be upset. I think we're going to be a little bit upset. We're going to win, maybe I'm thinking, I don't think it's going to be the usual dominant first game against Navy that we've had in the past when we played them in the opening game. I think it's going to be a 21-point victory. I don't think it's going to be I think the passing game is going to leave a lot to be desired. I think we're going to be mad, pissed off that a 25-year-old quarterback, things didn't work out quite how we wanted them to. I think the defense is going to play well. I think the special teams, there's going to be a big play on special teams tomorrow. I think we might see a return for a touchdown. And I think this thing's just going to keep getting better every week, John. I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to be incremental improvement until we get to Ohio State. And I think, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I think it's going to be something like, I know I said last week, I said 41-16 or 41-13. I'm coming back on that a little bit. I'm thinking something more like 37-16, I'll call it.
Gotcha. And let me ask you
this.
this.
Not bad, but nothing that's going to blow anybody away.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. If there's one thing you would be maybe worried about for tomorrow, what would be the number one thing that on the worry side of it?
Yeah, I think the wide receivers are going to frustrate. I think the wide receiver is going to frustrate the hell out of us tomorrow. I think, why has this unit not gotten any better? And I think then over the weeks they're going to get better. But I think tomorrow we're going to struggle. So. That's my guess.
Pat,
what? I don't think so. I think a good quarterback can really make a wide receiver unit. And part of the problem that we've had with the wide receiver unit is we never had a good quarterback throwing to him. Notre Dame has really good athletes.
True.
These guys just got to catch the football. If they catch the football, he's going to put it on them. This isn't the West Coast offense that Joe Montana ran where you threw to a spot. He's going to throw it to the guys. He's going to get it on them. All they got to do is catch the football. I think we'll be pleasantly surprised by the wide receiver unit tomorrow.
Yeah, and also Navy's pass defense is one of the worst in the league. They're not big, they're not long, and they're not fast back there. If ever there was an opportunity to get the young guys rolling, this could be it tomorrow, even though it is week one. Anything else, Rodney?
No, man. It's interesting. We're looking to see how this goes, but I think it's going to be. It's not going to be they're going to play terrible. I just think we're going to think that we should have gotten more out of them than what we got. That's what I think. There's going to be a couple big pass plays. I agree. There'll be a couple of them.
Yeah.
37-16. That's my prediction.
There you go. Beautiful, man. Hey, thanks for the call and enjoy your weekend, man. Hopefully it starts good. And then come on here 1 minute after the game. We'll be back tomorrow.
All right, man. You got it. Of course.
Beautiful. Thank you, my friend. All right. Look at that. That's like the quickest phone call we've ever had. All right. A couple people donated. I owe Nick Dean, and then 815 donated 574 as well. Nikki Dean, tell me all you heard and seen.
Hey, Johnny, how you doing?
I'm wound tight. That's it. I'm wound tight, man. Everything that can be said's been said. We need to just see it. We need to see it.
So here is the curveball. I promised you a curveball.
Okay.
My wife is a poet.
No.
And she's going to read you something for the eve of Notre Dame football.
All right. Let's get that curveball.
And here you go.
I like how she goes, no.
Yes, she's like, no. All right, let's hear it.
She's going to say it. She's going to have to say it.
All right.
Here you go.
Off the cuff. Be gentle with me, dude.
Okay.
Was the night before kickoff, and all through our house, the voice of John Kennedy rattled even the mouse. The remote was laid out by the big easy chair, awaiting "Go Irish!" filling the air. While Nick and I snuggled in our blue and gold bed, couldn't sleep around the sounds of John in our heads. When on the TV there arose such a chatter, I sat up in bed to see what was the matter. Across the airwaves from the state of Illinois came the voice of Always Irish, the Always Annoyed.
Oh, my.
I grabbed the remote.
That's fantastic.
I grabbed the remote and turned up the sound. And there I saw Pat, John's best friend, hands down. They yelled about Freeman. They yelled about O-line. They yelled about defense. They yelled the whole time. I cracked the cold lid and settled in for the show while Nick filled me in on all the stuff I didn't know. The trades and the stats, the commits for next year, while John on the TV kept yelling in my ear. He laid out his thoughts with anxiety and stress while praying that Indy would beat all the rest. The fans they called in, the fans they talked schmack. Then Nick got worked up. It was totally whack. I sat back and watched in awe of it all, listening to call-ins talking football. It was almost midnight, and I needed some sleep before kickoff tomorrow when the Irish kick deep. So I yelled, "Turn it off," and rolled over in bed and drifted to sleep with sounds of "That's right" in my head. Happy kickoff eve, John.
This is fantastic.
Right,
That's
baby.
amazing.
That's a short.
Mr.
John's got a new short to post tonight.
That is fantastic. That is like next level. It's rhymed out. You know I like my rhymes. It's rhymed out. It's in the perfect format. 'Twas the night before. You guys are gorgeous. You're my favorite Notre Dame couple.
Oh, it's funny.
Hey, Pat, how'd you like that, man? Give me a pumps up there.
That was good. That was good. Yeah, I loved it.
Up, man.
Telling you,
it was
well
good.
done. That was well done. Everything rhymed perfect. We had the voice changes. We had everything in there, man. That was beautiful. You guys, that was great. Thank you for the effort. I appreciate that a lot.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Anything for you, man.
Hey,
anything.
I appreciate that. How are you guys doing tonight? How are the nerves? I know you get a lot of wound tight. How are you feeling about tomorrow?
Man, I'm not really nervous about tomorrow. I'm nervous about NC State. I'm nervous about
trying to go to bed with John's voice
Ohio
in your head.
State.
Yeah, but
other than that, I
Nick,
think we got the season. I
Nick,
think Ohio State and NC State are big hurdles.
Hey, I got to ask you, after the struggle last year where we almost lost to Navy, how are you so confident you don't have to worry about anything tomorrow? I just got to ask. I'm trying to be responsible here. We almost lost you last year. How are you so confident 1 year later? You're already looking to week 3.
Here's the thing. Last year, we couldn't throw the ball 5 yards down the field. We couldn't throw the ball 5 yards down the field.
It's a good
and
point.
get it complete.
It's kind of a big deal if that matters to you. Yeah, kind of a big deal.
Hartman can hit a fucking slant. Oh, sorry. Hartman can hit a slant.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's my number one difference, Nick, is you got a quarterback who can actually burn you and make it work and open things up, force defenses to play honest. I agree with you. That should change the dynamic, but I got to see it to believe it with Notre Dame. Every time in my lifetime that I bought in and believed with Notre Dame, something bad's happened right after that. So Notre Dame just doesn't have a good history of proving it yet. So I want to be there, but I want to be on the postgame show tomorrow going, man, my hair actually grew back instead of fell out. That'd be nice one time.
So the only time I ever believed in Notre Dame's passing game was when Mr. Tim Brown was our tight end. Mr. Last Heisman Notre Dame won was our tight end. And I can't remember anybody catching everything that was ever thrown within 6 yards of him like Tim Brown did. So, and I was a sophomore in high school when that happened. I hope Mr. Hartman can make all the players around him as good as Tim Brown. I don't know if it can happen, but
I mean, that's not going to happen just because they don't have Tim Brown's physical abilities to do it. But I do think he can make them better, but only to a certain extent. Those I've been thinking about that. I'm assuming you meant wide receiver, not tight end or flanker, right?
Well, anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody.
But what I'm saying is I feel like those wide receivers, he can help bring them along a lot, but only to a certain extent. And then they're going to have to do their part. He'll definitely help, but they're going to have to do their part to block right, get open, run the right routes, fight through traffic, all that stuff. But I think Hartman is the tide that should rise all Notre Dame ships this year. I really do think. And what about on defense? Any anxiety tomorrow about us stopping this option attack, or do you feel pretty good?
My biggest anxiety is Meredith Leofow running straight into nothing. Okay?
Yeah, that's a problem.
Linebacker. I played linebacker. A linebacker is supposed to read and react and hit people hard. It doesn't matter if he has the ball, if he's a guy that makes the guy who has the ball that moves. That's the important thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It offends me that people think Maurice Leofow is a good linebacker. No, he's not. No, he's not. He has to look and see what's happening and hit whoever is making the motion of the offensive running game go one way and make them go the other way to make his players be able to make the tackle.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I don't know, man. I think also year 2 of Al Golden, I expect the Titans to be this year. Overall and in general, just against Navy and everybody else. I expect a tighter operation. Yeah, there it is, everybody. Pat the family man. You know, I don't know what you think of him, but he is a good guy and a good dad and all that I can verify. And those kids are a lot better looking than him, so we got that going for us.
Hey, Pat's a hell of a guy.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, from what I've talked to him, from what we've chatted about, Pat's a hell of a guy.
Yep. Well, that's why he's
Thanks,
my
Nick.
guy. That's why he's my guy. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for putting together that poem. I might have to cut that up and do something with it. And also, thank you for the emails back and forth. I'm working on some things, and the deans are kind of helping me navigate some things. I really appreciate your guys' input and loyalty to the program.
Any way we can help, John. Any way we can help.
I really appreciate it. Anything else on the way out? Thanks again.
Go Irish, beat Navy.
There you go. That's right. And beautiful job by the wife on the poem.
Welcome in. Welcome back.
I love it, man. I love it. Hey, you guys, enjoy the rest of the night and then have a good day tomorrow, okay? Go Irish.
Okay. Go Irish.
Have a good one. What's up, Lauren? Get in here. 815 local. You're on the air.
What's up, John? How's it going, man?
What's going on? And I got a 574 coming up next that donate, and then a bunch of others. We're going to get to all of you. What's going on, man? It's been, a month and a half, almost 2 months since I think we spoke last. And I'd be really interested in hearing where you're at right now with all this. How are you feeling on Christmas Eve?
Oh, I'm doing real well, man. Not nervous at all. I know a lot of Irish fans are. This is actually the most confident I've been going into a season opener in quite some time.
Now, all right. Now, you got to explain that to me. After we struggled with Navy last year, there's travel involved. They have a new coach involved. We don't know which quarterback they're going to have. Like, there's a lot of new, and we struggled with them last year. How are you that confident? I want to get there. Talk me through it.
So I'm a reporter now for the Irish Tribune. So I kind of did my research looking at this Navy team, who these guys are that they're throwing out at quarterback. That's part of it, is I don't have too much, confidence in Ty Lavatai, especially coming off of, I believe it was a torn ACL last year. He's coming off of that and was slated as the third quarterback on the depth chart to begin fall camp. And then you got a guy in Blake Horvath who has not seen any college football time at all. That's part of it. And then on the flip side of things is Sam Hartman. I think Sam Hartman is a top 5 quarterback in college football. I know I tend to get a lot of slack for that online from LSU fans and other fans in college football, but I don't think he's a gimmick QB, and I will never agree to that statement of him.
Yeah. And you know what I want to say about that is there's a couple different bars here, man. Is he, Williams from USC? Is he Lawrence in college? Like, no, but that's one bar. And that bar is the top quarterback in the entire country. The other bar is where Notre Dame has been operating from and where he places them. He does not have to be anywhere near Caleb Williams and at the Heisman presentation to make this offense way better. Don't you agree?
I agree. And you know what? And how I look at it is, you never see a team, people say, oh, you'll never see a team win a Super Bowl or a college football championship with a guy that's not a top 5 quarterback in college football. Okay, Stetson Bennett won it with Georgia last year. Was he a top 5 quarterback in college football, even with how good he was? No.
Yeah, but I would now wait. On that one, I'll push back and say, and I think I actually said this morning, I will say this. He is the outlier in terms of playoff quarterbacks that won championships. However, he's got a top 3 roster everywhere else. 5 stars, every important position, great offensive line. Notre Dame's never going to quite have, even if Notre Dame recruits great under Freeman, it isn't going to be that. It's just not possible. And so that is the one outlier with him, is he had all that top 5 talent to be able to distribute. And I think Notre Dame's not going to ever have that kind of roster. So it's more important that you have a good quarterback that can help drive the bus.
Yeah, and that's what I think. I think Sam Hartman, Notre Dame fans are what we're used to, is guys like Ian Book that are solid to, at their best, good starting quarterbacks in college football.
Yeah.
But they're not Sam Hartman.
Yeah.
And I didn't, and that's, I ask Notre Dame fans all the time, in your opinion, what Hartman is the best quarterback since when for Notre Dame?
Yeah.
And the answers I get are Clausen, Brady Quinn. I think personally he's the best quarterback we've had since Brady Quinn, just in terms of pure football acumen and smarts. And the thing is, like the guy called before me knows, he can throw a slant.
Yeah.
He can throw a slant for 5 yards.
Imagine that.
If you let Sam Hartman throw a slant, like if that's open, he will absolutely torch your defense to pieces.
Yeah.
You cannot afford to leave a guy open.
Yeah, and I want to
'Cause
see
they'll
that.
find
Now, all right, now let me ask you this, though. Do you have any concerns, maybe not for tomorrow or the first couple games, but do you have any concerns when we get further into the meat of the schedule that Notre Dame's interior O-line may not be able to hold it up enough to make all of that quarterback wide receiver stuff come to fruition? The two guards, are you nervous about that against the better teams we play? Maybe that will be a weak point for us, or do you think they'll get adapted pretty quick?
So I know Rocco Spindler and Pat Coogan have won the jobs, and I'm not as worried about Rocco Spindler because I think he has the talent. I think he's just a guy that is very talented and raw and just needs playing time to get better. Pat Coogan, I have a very big question mark about because from everyone's understanding, I thought, and everyone else thought Billy Stroud, it was his job to lose. But I think he won it for a reason, and I think you got to trust Marcus Freeman and what he does as a staff for starting Pat. That's the only worry. That's the only worry I have is Pat. I think Rocco will struggle early on, just because he hasn't had much playing time, which you can't give a kid slack for not having experience. But I think he'll get better as the year goes on. But I would not be surprised, honestly, if we saw, even by the Ohio State game, Billy Stroud take over that left guard spot.
Yeah, and I've heard that mentioned before as well. And so we're just going to have to see how that part goes. What about defensively overall for the year? And then anything specific about the uniqueness of playing Navy tomorrow? We've had a lot of time to prepare for it, and that should be in Notre Dame's advantage that they had all this run-up time. And so any thoughts about defensively overall and tomorrow?
So with the defense, I'm not as worried in terms of I'm not worried about corner. Obviously, I think that's definitely our strong suit. Linebacker, I know a lot of Notre Dame fans, specifically with Navy, are worried because, triple option is always a tricky, offense to defend. But if we look at the history of Notre Dame, what is one of the key things when Notre Dame plays Navy that always tends to help Notre Dame? When we have experienced linebackers and defensive linemen that have played against the triple option.
Yeah.
Now, we have guys on the 60-year guys on the linebacker core that have played against Navy 2, 3, sometimes even 4 times. So I think they've got that down. Like you had mentioned, J.D. Bertrand loves playing against it. My question mark on the defense is the defensive line.
Yeah.
Not so much Riley Mills because he's played against Navy before, but the new guys along that line that haven't seen much playing time against Navy, because from somebody who played football, watching film and game planning against it, the triple option is one thing, but actually having to play against it and read your keys and stay disciplined in a live game is completely different.
Yeah.
So what I want to see is that defensive line read their keys, stay disciplined, don't try to do too much, but we also need to be physical at the point of attack and mess up what Navy wants to do.
Yeah, you can't wait. You can't wait back. You got to disrupt and you got to dictate that and cause that havoc. If you sit back and wait, you're in trouble. You gotta force them into some mistakes and make them put the ball where it's advantageous to you. Let me ask you this, man. Does it surprise you a little bit that the reports out of camp were that the Notre Dame staff feels great about like a 7, 8, 9-man defensive line rotation where they're saying they feel great about all these guys? I didn't realize we had that kind of depth. Could that be reality or is that hopium in the summer? I wasn't expecting to hear they feel like they could rotate 7 and 8 guys and feel great about it. I wasn't expecting to hear that. Does that surprise you?
Yeah, it does a lot. I mean, it would have even surprised me, hell, if we would have brought back Isaiah Foskey from last year's team, and if somehow we were able to bring back both Ademilolas wins. I still wouldn't go that far, even if we had that amount of depth. At that point, maybe we go 6, 7 deep, but 8 or 9. I think that's a sell for me in terms of if that's true. I think that might just be coach speak, but we'll have to see, man. They'll definitely get a chance to prove it. At least I hope they will, because if Notre Dame does what they should do and what we expect them to do Saturday, we'll get to see the 8 or 9 deep.
Yeah.
And see what those guys do. But yeah, man, I mean, I really hope this is Riley Mills' year where he could just step it up and actually be the guy. You know,
kind of need him to be. And he's a physical monster. And I've heard that he's come in there with a lot of fire, and he's a big cog in the middle there. Need it.
Yeah, and you know, it reminded me a lot of where Foskey was last year. You know, Foskey had all the athletic ability in the world, but we were just kind of waiting for him to get that opportunity, waiting for him to just kind of click.
Yeah.
And it happened for him last year. Riley Mills was a guy that I remember Notre Dame fans were heavily excited for last year. And it wasn't that he was bad, but he wasn't all that he was hyped up to be from fall camp.
Yeah.
That's why it's like, I see these videos of him throwing Blake Fisher to the ground and, running over Joe Alt. That's all good and dandy in practice. That's all cool. And, you know, as a fan, it's great to see, but practice is one thing. I want to see you do that in a live game.
Yeah.
Because if you do that to Joe Alt, who many people think is the best tackle in all of college football, why aren't you doing that against Ohio State, who has a porous offensive line? Why aren't you doing that against Clemson when we need you to do that? That's where I want him to improve. I don't care about camp right now. I care about what you do in games.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing I've been talking about all week is all of these reports from camp, everything we've heard, the vibe, the energy, they've been high intensity and a different level and all that. Once that ball gets kicked in the air tomorrow, none of that means a damn thing to me. You either perform or you don't. And all those articles and all my shows and my articles and all of that, they all go into garbage when that ball's kicked off. Any final thoughts by you, fine sir? Thank you for the call tonight.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, John. It's always a pleasure, hooking up with my fellow 815 buddy. So my final thoughts, and this is my most important key to the game. I posted my article for the Irish Tribune when doing the Navy preview. On offense, stay away from 3rd and outs or 3 and outs. I cannot see the offense go out there the first drive and get a 3 and out.
Yeah.
You can't afford to do that against the Navy team where you'll be lucky to get maybe 11 or 12 possessions the entire game. You have to score points. Yeah. And then on the other side, you cannot let Navy get in 3rd and short. If you allow Navy to get in 3rd and short, the chances of them succeeding and converting on that 3rd down are very high.
Yeah, and then on 4th down too, since they like to go for it. Brian Kelly's caddy says Super Chat is not friendly for me right now. Is that why you keep hitting the same amount and keep sending it again? I feel bad, but I'll take it. I thought it was the same amount and the same keeps doing $9.99. I'm sorry if you're doing that on accident, but you ain't getting that money back. It's spent. Sorry. Hey man,
it's spent. It's spent.
It's already spent.
I'm excited. Football is back, my man.
Yeah,
Notre Dame football is back. It's week 0. And please, for the love of God, can we please put Navy away in the first half?
It'd be nice.
Sam Hartman can sit the bench for the second half, and we can see what Stephen Jelly and Kenny Minchie have.
Yeah, it'd be really nice.
So hard to have.
Yeah, it'd be really nice. And they were on the path to it last year. We were killing them the first half, and then it all went to nothing. I think it'll be good, man. And I hope this team is built different this year. And here's the other thing I'm going to offer you. Us 815s need to stick together. If you're interested in coming by the Always Irish studio sometime in 815 land, maybe we could whip up a little show together or something. So we could do that.
Hey, man, I definitely. I'll hit you up on Twitter about that. I know you still have me on Twitter, so
yeah,
I'll hit you up on Twitter. We can set something up for sure.
Perfect, man.
Yeah, man. I got my Notre Dame prediction already. I got Notre Dame winning 56-10. So I'm pretty confident. You could say I'm overconfident, but
man, 56. All right, but wait. As I let you go, 56 tells me that we're getting turnovers, short fields, a pick six, a punt block. Because if we're getting to that many points with the limited possessions, that indicates to me you think there's going to be some other action by Notre Dame in there. Okay, because I don't think you're going to get that many raw possessions. We're getting some short fields then.
So I've got 5 not touchdown passes, but I think Sam Hartman has a 5 touchdown performance, and I think we get a pick 6 and a fumble for a touchdown.
There we go.
So,
Perfect, man. Hey, I appreciate the call. I want you to relax, have a couple drinks tonight, and then enjoy tomorrow, and then hop on the post-game show tomorrow, right?
Definitely. I got you, man. Hey, I better be able to relax tomorrow.
I know.
We better
I
be
know.
able to relax tomorrow.
I know. I want my hair to grow back instead of fall out. Just one time, damn it. Just one time. All right. Thanks, 815. Message me on Twitter. We'll hook something up.
All right, for sure, man. Take
Have
care.
a good one. See ya. Oh, man. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that one guy, Pat, Brian Kelly's cat. He kept sending me 999.
I know. Hey, take it.
Yeah, I felt bad, but I'll take it. I don't, oh boy. She said she was gone forever, but she's back. 202. I miss talking to you.
Johnny, what is up?
I miss you. I miss you so much. You were the caller of the show after last year, the bad losses, and you were truly devastated, and it sucked. And I still think about it. You were really upset. Are we back, ready to be heard again?
We're back, yo, and 45-13 Irish, and I'm not being cute. I think that's really what's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to be peanut butter game, but I think Sam Hartman is going to have a really super fun fourth quarter watching Jabron Payne and Jeremiah Love scamper all over Aviva Stadium. But what I want to talk about is the moment of the weekend, my friend. Marcus Freeman lifting the Dan Patrick Show guy off the floor and driving him into the back of the studio doing
I did see
a
that
demo of a form tackle.
I did see that. And
that's my coach.
And they had the helmet. They had the helmet and everything. It was a cool moment. All right, let me ask you this. It's been a long time since we talked. It's great to hear from you. If you're going to the Central Michigan game, we're having a tailgate. Obviously, you're invited, okay? But let me ask you this. If you're feeling better about this year and have some momentum here, what do you think that biggest difference is in your opinion? Is it year 1 to year 2 of Marcus? Is it primarily that you have a quarterback we feel better about? What's giving you some confidence moving from last year's issues into this year?
No more Tommy Rees.
There it is. There it is. Now, what are you going to say if he lights it up at Alabama? They average 50-something points a game. What are you going to say to that?
Whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't here. It wasn't here. It wasn't here. And the quarterback recruiting and development didn't happen here. That's what I'm going to say. Good for him there, but none of it was happening here.
And if you even think about trying to jump pass up the middle on 1st and goal from the 7 with Audric Estime in his 150th yard of the game, your headset's going to be taken off, Tommy, and you'll be walking home. Don't try that. You won't get away with it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he'll have success because Nick Saban is not Brian Kelly.
That's also true. That's also very, very true. Let me ask you this. This is a tough one for next week. Who are you rooting for? Florida State or Brian Kelly? They've put me in that position next week to have to root for Florida freaking State. I don't appreciate it.
Let's go, Meteor.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly. Yeah. I know. It's rough out there. It's rough out there. And I don't even want to mention to you that 2 of the championship playoff teams I see mentioned are Michigan and LSU. I've seen a lot of preseason stuff that has both of them making the playoff, and then I'm going to root for something bad to happen.
I mean, whatever. Michigan is, what are they? They're ranked 2 or 3 in any of the polls.
Yeah.
You know, fine. Harbaugh, the whole NCAA situation is hilarious to me that they thought they had a negotiated deal and they thought they had it in the bag, and the NCAA said, not so fast, my friend. So Michigan's response is to self-impose a 3-game ban for Harbaugh. And who are they playing? St. Joe High School, Clay High School, and Adams High School. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
And I don't think that's going to be the end of it. And I'm just going to laugh because we all know that it's more than him buying somebody a hamburger.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. And for as easy as Michigan's schedule is this year, it's actually legitimately challenging next year. And so they're trying to get it while the getting's good. Anything else that you want to cover? We haven't talked in a while. I'm just glad to have you back. I know how genuinely frustrated and upset and sick of everything you were last year, and I don't blame you for it. But that one morning when you called, everybody just kind of...
My life was over.
Everybody just kind of like,
done.
I didn't know how to react. I wasn't used to it. It was just so genuine. And you went off about like, this is not Notre Dame football. This is not what it should be. And I can't handle it. And it just struck a chord with everybody.
Yeah, I brought the whole room down, and I do apologize, but yeah, my life was over, and nobody in my place of work was allowed to use the word football in a sentence for the rest of the calendar year.
Yeah.
This is what I think.
Hey, listen, just so you know, I'm pretty sure I've brought the group down on a few of my shows before with some reality. So don't feel like the first time the negativity hit was when you called. I'm not going to put that on you. I'm not going to put that on you.
This is what I think. I think Joe Alt is going top 8. I think Sam is going to get an invitation to New York. I'm not saying he's going to win. I'm saying he's getting an invitation.
Yeah.
And all y'all, whoever at ESPN or whoever makes that top 100 football players list, you didn't put Audric on there. You're going to pay. It's all fine. You do you, and that's fine. When he breaks a bunch of guys' faces this season,
yeah,
you'll know.
Yeah.
You'll know. Fine.
Yeah. Hey, Notre Dame's flying under the radar, right outside the top 10, not getting a lot of national love today. Feinbaum was laughing at somebody suggesting, could Notre Dame be a contender? Feinbaum couldn't hold his laughter in. I mean, he had a heck of a chuckle out of that one. So Notre Dame's flying under. Fine. Yeah. Hey, great. Notre Dame's flying under the radar. They have every opportunity to change the narrative. The schedule speaks for itself this year. It's totally up to Notre Dame what they're going to do and what they're going to be. And I'm excited to see it, but it's really nice to have you back. Thank you for calling.
You got it, Johnny. See you later.
Have a good one. Take care. Enjoy the game. Low stress. All right. IO 574. And then we got a bunch more calls. We're going to keep it moving quick, you guys. I like this. 574, you're up.
Hey, Johnny. How you doing?
I am doing well, but I admit I am wound a little tight. I don't quite know what we're going to do tomorrow, and it needs to be good, damn it.
I'm a newbie to the community here. I just found your show about 2 months ago, and I'm absolutely loving it. I got to tell you, you're a man of the people.
I really appreciate that. I appreciate that. Oh, by the way, man of the people, I don't know if you go to any games, 574 in your local. We're having a big tailgate for the Central Michigan game. You're more than welcome. You can't miss it. We're going to have a huge, we're going to have a big flag. You're not going to be able to miss it, but everybody's welcome for Central Michigan all that morning.
You know, you're going to laugh at this because my wife, who's at Wrigley tonight at the frickin' Jonas Brothers concert, she's a U of M alum, and I'm getting suckered going up to Ann Arbor for that game that day because the next day I'm driving at the Michigan Speedway on Sunday. So I'm stuck. I can't come to the tailgate, but if you're out there for Ohio State or USC, I'll be out there for sure.
Perfect. Well, I just wanted to make sure you knew of the offer.
Yeah, thanks, brother. So I'm calling in, and I put a little hint on the super chat. Who remembers the last time we played in Dublin? Right, it's 2012.
Yep, and it was also the first year too. It was also the first game again.
Exactly. Yep. And I was at Racine Plumbing because I was living in Chicago at the time. I was at Racine Plumbing, hosing people, doing car bomb races for money. It was the best, one of the best days ever at Racine Plumbing. And that season, going into the season, no one, we didn't have that good of feelings that season. And I'm feeling that here in Granger. Like, talk to my dad, talk to my neighbors, all these old timers in town, my friends. No one's that excited right now.
Yep.
And
Notre Dame could use that. Notre Dame could sneak right under the radar and be primed by the time that Ohio State comes under the radar. That's what I need to happen. Is that where you're going with this too?
For sure, man. For sure. It feels like I'm a superstitious guy, and I think that allows me to see patterns. And it feels like we're going back to, I don't want to say anything, but it has that feeling again.
Yeah.
And I haven't been excited about a quarterback. Since Kaiser, and he wasn't even that great.
Yeah, like, but at least he had a big arm. Yeah, at least he had an arm that made you actually think about respecting it. I don't know, man. Some of these years where Notre Dame doesn't start with a lot of hype, it ends up working to our advantage. And the other thing is, with Notre Dame's schedule, you don't need to beg for anything or hope the committee values your schedule. You don't have to worry about any of that crap. You just need to play the games in front of you and win them. And Notre Dame's going to end up right where they deserve to be.
It holds its own. The schedule holds its own.
Yep.
And, like going into the game tomorrow, I don't want us to show and be flashy on offense. I'm fine with us with just being physical and run the ball and we'll throw when we need to throw. Let's just beat them up and, go to work.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. If you have any hesitations about tomorrow, like the biggest thing you think could go wrong or something like that, what would it be? Playing Navy's kind of goofy. What would it be?
We got some younger guys that are going to play. Maybe they're not up to the, traveling and just getting out of South Bend, going away from home to play. But we have veterans too. Like, I think the defense is going to be better than what we think against Navy. I have no reservations for tomorrow. I really don't. I think.
Oh man, that's beautiful. I want that to be, and I hope you call me after the game tomorrow on the post-game show and go, John, I told you there's no need for your hair to fall out and turn gray today. Look at that easy win, and we looked healthy. We were healthy, and we played good. That's what I want.
For sure.
Let me ask you this. And you're talking about going back. So let me bring this to you. Often hear from football media about the improvements teams make week 1 to week 2 in a year and just getting better. What do you expect from Freeman year 1 to year 2? What do you want to see out of that guy that shows you it isn't the first year anymore? He's more comfortable. And I don't even know if it'd be noticeable to us. But are there adjustments you want him to make year 1 to year 2?
So my whole philosophy is with college football, you see such an evolution of the team throughout the year. It's not the pros, right? It's different. Yep. They change so much up in weekly preparation. You see players grow into their positions that, I fully expect, you'll see some weaknesses, some vulnerabilities, in defense early in the year that get covered up. But in terms of what Freeman can change, just, don't be afraid of making those tweaks at halftime. Don't be afraid to address what you're seeing. Don't stick to a plan too much. Be fluid.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the thing about that. He's so humble. I think you're going to get that because I don't think Freeman's not the type of guy that has the ego that thinks he knows all the answers and he knows everything. I think he's humble enough that he took a big look at last year, and I'm sure he probably is going to change some things either in approach or messaging or even practically. He's humble enough that I'm convinced he took a long, hard look at what worked and what didn't last year. I think he's the type of guy to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you see that in his personality for sure. Yeah. But thanks for having me on the show, John.
Oh, no problem, man. Hey, I'm glad to have a new caller. Save the number and give me a call whenever you'd like. And if you're local to the South Bend area, look me up, man. I'm over there a lot doing stuff. So we'll hang out and welcome to the show. Welcome to the program.
Sounds great. Have a good night.
Have a good one. Dude, I am not dreaming, Pat. What was that beating? Was that you?
That was me. That
What were
was
you
my-
doing? We're doing a radio show here. Pat's over here playing the drums.
I didn't even realize it. I didn't even, like. I was just tapping the bass of my mic, just doing it, and I didn't.
Everybody,
Like
I
couldn't hear
took
it.
these off. I'm like, what is that? I didn't know what it was. I thought I was hearing things, and then I thought I'd write it and see if anybody else heard it too. Oh my God!
Like it was like the very base of my mic. It's like 6 inches away from the microphone, but it picked it up.
But like we couldn't see your arms. I couldn't see you doing it.
I know.
Dude, now some people are saying Pat.
And now I
half the people say they can't hear Pat, and the other half say he's too loud. I don't know what to do.
I can't win. Is this better? I turned it down.
Oh, that's really funny. Hey, Pat, before I get to this next bank of callers, I do like the flow moving a little quicker. Before we get to the next bank of callers, I want to give you a chance to jump in on anything you heard. I don't want to just make you sit there and look at the chat. Anything you want to react to from what we've heard?
No, you know what? I mean, a lot of great points were made. I think that the one thing that was said that really resonates with me is the defensive line and seeing the defensive line and how it performs. Somebody asked me earlier in the chat, what player do I want to see the most? I want to see Hartman. I want to see Hartman in action. But after Hartman, it's the front seven of the defense. I want to see these guys play. That's the biggest question mark, and it's really just that's the level of football that I want to see. I want to see those guys perform. I want to see them perform well. I want to see them. There's no reason they cannot dominate Navy. No reason.
Yeah,
and they should. Absolutely should.
Yep. That's a very good point. All right, we're gonna go back to the lines. I like keeping it moving. If you're on hold, hang in there. A few minutes, we'll get there. 219. I know who this is. What's going on, JD?
Going on, brother? Go Irish.
Go Irish. JD, now this guy's, when you talk about diehard Notre Dame fans, this guy's a diehard. He just this summer was in the fantasy camp, did the old Notre Dame player experience, got to hear a lot of the inside information there. JD, you're a real one, and I know this is a special night for you. I know how worked up you get, just like I get. This is a big night for you. It's Christmas Eve for us Notre Dame fans. Tell me where you're coming from. What's on your mind?
Oh, I feel like it's like my wedding day again. That's how nervous I get before the games. Like my stomach's a wreck. I threw up today, and it's probably just because my stomach's been a wreck because just worrying about tomorrow.
JD, I love you, man. I love you.
You threw up today? You threw up today over the Navy game?
Man, like this is why you're the best, man. I love you. It is fantastic. But I mean, I don't want you to get sick over it. But I mean, I admit my stomach's been turning today, but I didn't throw up. Oh my God, man.
I mean, John, you're the diarrhea king. I've never seen a guy get more diarrhea before Notre Dame plays.
Not anymore. That was college. I don't have that problem anymore. It's because we ate McDonald's for every meal. That's what it was. We ate McDonald's cheeseburgers every meal. I couldn't help myself. I had to mix my beer with Pepto. Give me a damn break. JD, what do you think about tomorrow? Should we be nervous about Navy again, or should we realize we should probably blow these guys out? What's the reality?
Well, the reality is we're Notre Dame fans, and it's Notre Dame. We have to be nervous for every single game. There's not one game, not one play we can't be nervous. Until the fourth quarter buzzer hits 0, then I'm unnervous. And then guess what? I'm nervous for the next game.
Yeah. Now, JD, you know what somebody brought up to me today? They were talking about Notre Dame anxiety, and they were saying, John, what would it take for you to enter any of these Notre Dame games feeling really good that like we're going to get it done? And what I said is, if I had a body of evidence that suggested I could trust the level of play I'm going to get week in to week out, I could start to buy in. But Notre Dame has not provided that to us in a long, long time to be able to just know the level of what you're going to get, that level of play, that it's good enough week in and week out, or to know if you're going to have an off week, you have enough talent, you're going to win anyways, even if you're not clicking and you're sleepwalking, everybody's hungover, whatever it is. Notre Dame just hasn't been at that level. And until they are, I'm going to have anxiety before every game. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, they're 18 and 22-year-old boys. I mean, like, it's just a lot of stuff goes on in their lives. They got a lot of stuff going on. You don't know how they're going to come out, how the team's going to prepare, what they're thinking mentally. I mean, there's just so many things that can be involved with the game of football, and that's why upsets happen. That's why teams beat teams they're not supposed to, and that's why Notre Dame does what they do sometimes. So yeah, they're always going to have anxiety. It don't matter if we're undefeated and beat everybody by 50.
Yeah,
and I don't care if we're going against whoever. I'm still going to be nervous.
Yeah,
I get nervous, and I know we're up by 4 touchdowns with 2 minutes left.
Yeah,
and I know the other team can't come back and win. I'm still nervous until that buzzer literally hits 0.
Yeah. Let me ask you, JD. I believe Notre Dame hasn't had a quarterback with Hartman's skill set in quite some time. I believe even with the questions in the wide receiver room and everything, I believe that this changes what's possible. And no matter what happens this year, he's going to raise the bar of this offense. And I can't wait. It is about damn time. Like, we have waited to have a quarterback that can throw it around. And I think we're going to get it, man. And I'm excited to see it. Do you share that?
Oh, absolutely. I was just talking to somebody today about that too. I said, we have not had a quarterback like this in years that I can remember that, I said, he'll make the receivers look good. My prediction for tomorrow, MVP of the game will be Chris Tyree. I think that's going to be our MVP. I think he scores 2 touchdowns.
Oh, I like that, JD.
Tomorrow.
JD, I like that. Now I know you're busy. I know you're busy, and you don't hear everything I do, or can't catch every show. I have been saying this whole camp, he is a secret weapon. I think this move to wide receiver helps everybody. It helps free up carries in the running back room for guys who are better fitted for that. The wide receiver room needs some help, so he helps there. And I just think his skill set is better doing this than a north-south handoff run. I think he's a secret weapon, and I think Hartman's going to love him because he's going to be the bailout guy, the blitz beater, the slip screen guy. I think if they play it right, he should be a huge secret weapon.
Absolutely. And I live in Lafayette, and you know that, but like other people might, not. But I had to watch Purdue and listen to Purdue stuff. Rondell Moore, what was he, like 5'10"? But he was fast as lightning. And what they do? They pass him on a quick slant, and what do? He go 80 yards for a touchdown. Now he's in the NFL. That's exactly what Tyree can do. Make him do a short, quick pass, like you said, a dump off pass. He breaks 1 tackle, he's gone. Tomorrow. He just needs to break 1 tackle. Once he gets that first step, it's over. So yeah, if they use him right, it just could be magical tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta believe Notre Dame having all this time to prepare is going to be a big difference tomorrow. And I think if we do things right, we should be able to wreck what they want to do, man. That offense Navy has takes time to gel, time to build rhythm and timing. You don't have time when you're undermanned, out athleted, and it's game 1. I want to see Notre Dame just disrupt everything and just be game wreckers and have my hair turning red instead of gray. That's what I need.
Yeah, they have to go out. And, I mean, this game is so huge for Marcus Freeman. You come out in your second year and we blow it against Navy. I mean, it'll be just bad for the whole season. Like, they have to come out and make a statement. He has to,
And JD,
you got to go out there and just blow
the
up.
other thing is everybody in America is watching. You're the big game in town. This isn't next week when everybody's got their own little game with their team and all the eyeballs are divided. Everybody in America that likes football is watching Notre Dame play tomorrow. It is just a huge moment, a big showcase. And I want to get on here and say, man, I really overblew that Navy thing. I was in my own head worrying about it, and look at what we did. It was overblown and all that. That's what I want to be saying on the post-game live call-in show tomorrow, man. I need to say that.
Oh, yeah, both of those. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, it'd be 10 times easier on us. And if we could just blow them out and worry about the next week's game, that's the best thing that could happen for all of us.
JD, I got to ask you, though, if you're this nervous now before Navy, am I going to have to put you in
Ohio State?
A padded room before Ohio State? What are we going to do? Your poor wife, is Carrie okay? I feel bad for poor Carrie. God bless her.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. There's sometimes she'll just like, yeah, she's kind of learned now. We've been together so long that she just knows. Yeah, you just stay away from JD, and when he gets mad, just yeah, and yeah, and we're going to Clemson game too, so I'll be a wreck on that one, on the flight getting there and all that. So that'll be craziness.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Ohio State game will be crazy. I just, oh yeah, it's. I'm walking around just talking to you now because I can't sit still.
Yeah,
you're I'm like you. We pace too much.
Yeah, I'm a pacer.
Yeah, me and you're the same. We're pacers.
I've always been a pacer,
Yeah,
and that's why, JD. That's why for the Central game, I got my tickets in the top row of the upper deck specifically so I could stay on an aisle, so I could stand and move around, and I don't have to be sitting there jammed between a bunch of people. We're in the very top row right against the wall, and I'll be able to stand, and we have an aisle, so I'll be able to spread out and pace around. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. That's the smartest thing you can do right there. That's a great seat. That's a great idea.
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't mind being high. I don't want to be jammed in there and I can't move or do anything. And so we got a good little area there. Anything else, JD? I knew, man, I just knew you were going to be all wound and twisted up tonight.
No, man, I just wanted to call and say, hey, real quick, and just excited for tomorrow. And like I said, going with MVP will be Chris Tyree, and just excited to finally just get back to some college football and just hanging out with people and, just enjoying the game.
There you go, man. Hey, try not to stress out too much. Have a couple strong drinks, get a good night's sleep in, and then tomorrow we'll deal with whatever tomorrow's going to be. All right, man?
Hey, sounds good. Appreciate you, John.
No problem. Hey, we'll see you in about a month. All right?
Oh, yeah. I'll be at that game at tailgate for sure.
Perfect. Have a good one. Tell Carrie I said I too. Oh, boy, man. Pat, I think these people were right. Somebody put in the chats, John makes a lot more money when we're all inebriated. I think, is it like, you start drinking, I'll buy this, I'll buy that.
Definitely not wrong. That's for sure. I mean, there was a show where I was doing this with you and I donated.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, and then you promise people outfits. Man, you better just keep your mouth shut. It's getting dangerous here. 773, and then I got a 419-562-276 and some others. 773, what's going on?
Hey, Johnny, how you doing, pal?
I'm wound a little tight, but I'm excited, man. I really am excited.
No, I'm right with you, brother. Yeah, I'm right with you. Listen, I'll be real quick. So you before you started the phone calls, you started talking a little bit about the special teams. I'd like to make a comment on that. So, Brian Mason, who was this special teams coach last year, he did a fabulous job. And I believe that Marty Biaggi can do the same thing. And here's why. That usually comes from the head coach down.
Yeah.
If they're working that hard on it and putting in the right players on the right special teams, look what Lou Holtz and Frank Beamer did with special teams during their career. So that's a big positive. I think you're going to see a lot more of what we had last year. And then as far as, all of the prognostications of what, of what we don't know, there's a lot we don't know. But this team is the first team in 30 years that has any kind of speed all over the field. How in God's name is Navy going to stop them? It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah. And I know you pay attention to recruiting and roster development and all that kind of stuff. I know that's kind of your thing. And here's what I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not acting like I'm an X's and O's guy. That's not what this show's for. And I don't act like I'm an expert at those things. I don't need to know X's and O's to know that when I saw and read and heard everything from camp, that blue chip ratio thing's already starting to pay off. This team's getting longer and faster and more athletic and deeper. And that will compound as the years keep going if they recruit that way. Do you agree with that? I just feel like you're starting to see it.
1,000%.
Okay, so
1,000%.
I'm not out on an island on that. You're seeing that too?
Oh, yeah, and here's why. When Lou Holtz took over in 1986, he had all the Faust players, right? he only had a handful that came in for his first year. Just the speed upgrade between 86 and 87 was unbelievable. And then going to 88 when Rocket came in as a freshman, and then you had Todd Light and the guys in the secondary like George Streeter from Julian High School in the South Side. I mean, and then the linebackers. Everybody got quicker. So it is going to have to happen through recruiting. There's no question about it. So this mentality of the Notre Dame fans taking a deep breath, let's wait and see. You know, you can't teach speed.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to catch speed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
you know,
And I just can't
especially
believe.
with Greathouse.
Yeah. You can't really teach that. And you know what else too? It would be normal to come in as a freshman and be like, you know what? I'm the young guy. I'm going to know my role, be behind the older guys, learn, stay quiet, not push things. These young guys are not like that anymore. They're going in there and going to hell with that. I'm competing for my snaps, and they're going in there and earning them. And it's a great sign. But I think you're seeing overall the depth on this team get better. And the reason that's going to be real important real soon is for Notre Dame to make a run in the new playoff era, they're going to have to win a bunch of games against top 12 teams in a month. You're going to get dinged.
Absolutely.
You are going to need quality depth and be able to rotate a guy in there and not get burned every time. Notre Dame's working in that direction. Now, it isn't obvious 5-star all over Georgia, Ohio State. It isn't that level, and I'm not acting like it is. But I'm just saying it's a noticeable uptick. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you just look at it pragmatically, you know, you start adding that kind of talent and speed on the periphery and the outside every year.
Yeah.
They're going to get there. They're not there just yet.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what. You know, here's the thing that Notre Dame fans have been beefing about since Bob Davie was there. That why is it that all these other top teams have freshmen that come in right away and play?
Yeah.
Well, we've got those freshmen this year. I really think you're going to see a young Jaden Greathouse or maybe Flores, and Tobias Merriweather is still young. I think you're going to see them take the top of the defense off tomorrow. I really do. 42-10 Irish from the Chicago Irish Connection here. I love you guys. It's a great show. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot, man. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the game. And call in after on the postgame show if you're around, okay? Oh, he hung up. He got in what he wanted to say. He did have a John Madden to him, didn't he, Pat?
My goodness.
He had a John Madden.
When he said, let's think about it pragmatically, I was like, oh, my God, that is something John Madden would actually say.
Yeah.
It blew my mind.
That was good. That was definitely really good. All right, we got some more calls here. 419, you dropped off and came back. I'm going to get to you. 562, what do you want to do?
Hey, Johnny, can you hear me?
I can. What's going on?
All right. Brian Kelly's caddy, dude.
Oh, is it?
What, $29.97 hauler?
There you go, Brian Kelly's caddy. That was a new name. I have not seen that name before, but I really like it, man. And thank you for the donations. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I guess Apple kind of got me there a little freezing. I couldn't really see you guys, and oh well. But
well, look at it this way. Hey, look at it this way. The next 3 shows you watch, don't donate anything, and then it'll be the same as if you did $10 3 weeks in a row. Do it that way.
Yeah, well, I'm just excited about the game tomorrow, dude. It should be a good one. I don't think it's going to be as devastating as everyone thinks it is, but it's the Navy. I don't see I hope it's a massive blowout, but you never know. I'm just sick of all these ESPN guys not giving us credit or airtime on the cable channels. Like we never get national credit, so that's the more frustrating thing.
I'm telling you, man, Notre Dame is way under the radar, and I actually like it. Some years it offends me. I think I like it because I think when you have this kind of quarterback, you could sneak up on people. I am fine with Notre Dame just like flying under the radar and hopefully navigating all the way to Ohio State under it, that doesn't bother me at all. I'll tell you this, though. If you make it to Ohio State and you're undefeated, there ain't no flying under that radar. So you better do all the radar flying now, because that's going to be the big one.
Yeah, to be honest, dude, I consider USC the bigger one for me. I'm from Los Angeles, so all my friends, everyone surrounding me, all SC fans.
Yeah.
I'm just sick of Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I went to a Dodger game recently where they were giving away Caleb Williams bobblehead, and I had to dispose of it, dude. There's no way I'm keeping that.
Yeah.
He even had his freaking nails painted too, which was the most frustrating part.
Come on, man. That's rough. It's rough for that. And what I always say this, man, what bothers me most about the USC fan base is they're just come around latelys, man. They drop off for a decade and then come back when the team's good. Like it just doesn't, they're not loyal. They don't even care. And then the team's good and then they're running their mouths again.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. But in terms of the season, dude, who knows, man? I mean, we have some really massive games at home, which is, I guess, the upside. But you know, OSU, USC. To be frank, I'm not too concerned about Clemson. Great team, Dabo Swinney. Who knows if his days are over? I just want the Swamp Thing to lose, dude, more than anything else. I'm sick of seeing him win it. And the Brian Kelly caddy is just more of a troll. We know how he was when he was recruiting him. For him to go to LSU and him get more national credit at LSU, like it's just disgusting to me.
Yeah, and I've been saying it's a very awkward position for me to be in next week to have to root for Florida State. But I'm not rooting for Kelly unless he's playing Michigan. The only way I think I'd root for Kelly is if they're playing Michigan, and then I would default to him. But I'm rooting for Florida State. That's how wild the times are, man. I'm going to be sitting on the couch all night.
I don't even, I mean, I'll definitely be rooting for Florida State, and I'm sick of hearing that chant too. I mean, I just want Brian Kelly to lose, man. I mean, I'm sure I'm with everyone on that. I mean, some people like him in the chat. I think he did absolutely nothing for us. So, I mean, most winning coach of all time. Give me a break, man. Like, what did he win? Some regular season games and in nothing at a high level. Give me a break.
Yeah, and I think I do have to give him some credit. He did inherit a dumpster, and he did help build some of the infrastructure on the back end to kind of dig us out of that more into modernity a little bit. But he just hit a level where he was never going to get over it, and it was time to break up, and we did it, and he's happy, and I think we're going to be happy with our guys. So I'm excited about it. Yeah, Craig's saying most winningest coach, and he lost the most games too. If you're around that long, he
100%.
He won the most and he lost the most. So that cuts both ways. Why don't you give me what you are most excited to see tomorrow and one worry you have tomorrow? I'd love to hear that from you.
Worry right off the bat is always going to be the option play, right? I mean, we've been seeing it for a long time. That option does throw us off a little bit. We either hit or miss on it. But I'm excited to see Sam Hartman, dude. I want to see him open up with a bomb and just launch it downfield. I mean, we have really good wide receivers this time. The depth is a little bit more better. So yeah, I want to see some more air action. Our D line is solid. Our O line is solid. I just want to see it dominate from start to finish.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, man. There's so much that's been reported this camp, and I want to believe in all of it, and I want to love all of it, and I want it all to be the reality, but I've been around Notre Dame too long and been let down too many years. I just got to see it to believe it. So tomorrow is the first chance, and I want to see where we're starting from, where we're coming out of the gate from this year. I just want to see, I want to see what level. Do we have it all together? Is the defense able to contain all the option stuff? I just want to see where we're starting from. What's up, Lauren?
Right. I just want to know, is it true? Am I reading the right article? Does Tyler Buckner third on the depth chart.
Yep.
Is that accurate?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And so what you got is you have Tyler Buckner third, and then you have, I know Pine was dealing with an injury in camp. He's not going to start either. And so I think you're seeing the beginning of Notre Dame turning the quarterback corner. Hartman is the first one in that. Then you have Minchie Carr. And if you could get a 25 guy like the Deuce, that would be good too. Notre Dame starting, I think, to get out of that quarterback nightmare vortex we've been stuck in my whole life. And I think we're on the way out of it. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, got some babysitting duties to do. I have the little one strapped to me, but just want to call in and congratulate you boys on that $29.97 hauler. Maybe lights on me, Pat. Drink up. You too, Johnny. Go Irish boys.
Hey, listen, man, I really
appreciate the beers.
Yeah,
I'll get into them tomorrow night.
I also appreciate a clever handle. Brian Kelly's caddy, me and Pat are golfers. It's just all perfect. We always get mad about him golfing instead of recruiting. It's all perfect, man. I love you. And I'm not just saying that because I'm not just saying that because the internet made you give me more money than you wanted either.
I was gonna do a past Uber driver, but it's all right.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Would be a good one, too. Hey, man, I want you to enjoy the weekend. This is a great night for everybody. And go ahead and drink a couple cold ones, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.
All right, brother. Go Irish.
Have a good one. Thanks again. I appreciate it.
Johnny, so it's football season now. That means I switched from Miller Lights to Guinness. Number one. So
is that's only your summer light beer? Now you go to the heavier stuff.
Miller Light during the summer, Guinness during the winter. Fall. It starts for the fall. And then I wanted to real quick the Brian Kelly stuff.
Yeah, hold on. I got 276-419. 419, I got to get you. You've been on and dropped off, and you're losing your place in the queue. We're going to get you too for sure. Go ahead, Pat.
I am not rooting against Brian Kelly. I am not rooting for Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly is just another head football coach in college football. I am done with him. I am not spending any more time with him. I'm just done.
Yeah, you're just like sick of it. And now the other thing, Pat, is the further removed we get, the more it makes sense to not worry about him because we're less, our realities are going to be less connected to what he did. Right. Last year, I felt like it was more fair to bring him up because a lot of the personnel nightmares were his problem.
Yes. So I'll probably watch the Florida State LSU game because is that the Sunday night game?
Yeah, that's going to be a big
so
one.
I'm going to watch it because it's going to be on, but I'm done. I am not focusing. Like I took great pleasure last year in watching them lose and the missed field goal that was taken back for a touchdown. I enjoyed that stuff. I'm done with him now though. It's over. He's dead to me. He's just another guy out there who's a lying, cheating, backstabbing SOB.
And what I said was, because I took a lot of heat.
Nothing personal though.
Yeah, nothing personal. But whenever I brought it up and last year, whatever, people were saying, get over it. He's not here anymore. I don't want to hear about him. And my response always was, when I feel like his incompetence and or / laziness stops affecting this team, I'll quit talking about him that much.
Right. That's the point. Kelly,
right?
Kelly, that football team was created by Brian Kelly. And the flaws we saw in that football team last year were because of that roster management that he did.
Yeah.
But I'm not forgiving Freeman. He was learning on the job and he made mistakes as well. Yeah. So we saw losses that we wouldn't normally see under Brian Kelly.
Yeah. And Pat, that's the other thing I battled was people were saying, oh, there we go. We lost to Stanford and you're going to blame Kelly for that. Both can be true at the same time.
Both can be true. Two things can
be
true.
We can acknowledge Kelly's issues and the position he left us in a lot of areas, and also say Freeman made year one missteps or didn't have the message right, wasn't gauging where his guys were at, zoning in for these games, whatever. Both of those could be true at the same time. But the further away we get from Kelly, the less he matters. Like, I just want him to not be a part of it. And then we have our new talent in, and he isn't a part of any of it, and new coaches and all that.
And I do think that Freeman has done such a better job at recruiting Yeah, he's not getting the 5-star guys, but neither did Kelly. But he is getting deep talent across the board, and he's got kids that are coming in playing right away. So I do think this is going to be a better football team. Now this is Marcus Freeman's football team. Now he's just got to learn how to coach.
Yeah,
Be
and
a head coach. Be a head coach.
This is a big year to look at that improvement and what changes he's made after year one. Somebody asked, are you guys saying you won't be mad if Kelly wins a championship? How would you feel if Kelly wins championship at LSU, Pat?
I'd be mad. I'd be mad only for the fact that he's going to say he was able to do it, not because he won, but because he's going to get the question. He is going to get the question that somebody's going to ask him, how come you couldn't do this at Notre Dame? And he's going to come up with the same BS.
Yeah.
So if he does it there, he's going to blame Notre Dame's academic standards. And the reality of it was he was too lazy to go out and recruit the players that you need to recruit.
Yeah. And you know what else,
Marcus Freeman is going after.
You know what else too? When you look at those recruiting rankings, Notre Dame and LSU are pretty close to each other in the last couple cycles. It's not a situation where he's recruiting 25 spots better because he went to LSU. Like, we're not really seeing that disparity play out. He's not landing 6 5-stars that he couldn't get into Notre Dame. That's not really what's happening.
And again, like I said, I'm done with him. I'm not going to care what his football team does this year, but I do react to comments he makes about Notre Dame. And he literally went out there and complained that he had to get on a private airplane and fly the country to recruit.
Yep.
Complaining about that. I would give my left nut to be able to fly around on a private airplane and not have to get on Southwest and have some heifer sit next to me.
Do it for Notre
the plane can't even
Dame.
get off the ground because she's so fat.
To do it for Notre Dame too, not just a private jet, but you're doing it on behalf of Notre Dame. And the difference is he looked at that as a pain in the ass chore. Freeman looks at it as, let's go meet some talent.
And then,
let's go. It's all about how you approach it.
And everywhere he went, he put his golf clubs on that private airplane. Now he just drives around the state of Louisiana in an Escalade, and his golf clubs are in the back of it.
Yeah,
so
nice.
that's all that's changed for him. Is just he's got and let's just say he just doesn't recruit. His staff does. It's just,
Yep. All right, back to the lines. 276-419. Those might be the last two of the night. This will time out good. 276. You know you're in the mix. What's going on?
Hey, John. Huge fan of your podcast. Anyway, get back to the roots.
I appreciate that.
Of your show.
Yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm hoping that tomorrow that Notre Dame should be up by at least 20 or so in the fourth. And I want to see Angeli and Minchie get into the game and see what kind of backup quarterbacks we have for this year and see what's going, into the future.
Hey, you know what? I have been told and heard and read, everybody's very impressed with Angeli. I have heard he's kind of an afterthought compared to Hartman, Minchie, and definitely Carr. But I have been hearing glowing reports about the way that Angeli is developed. And I'm hearing that he's looked really good in some of these practice sessions. And I would love to see him get real action. But here, I'm going to tell you this, though. You know what a pet peeve of mine is? All these head coaches talk about wanting to get other guys snaps, wanting to get their depth experience and all that. Pat, am I on a lag? My internet's saying it's a little low. Yeah, yes, it'll come back. And all these coaches say they want to get their guys experience. They put in the backup quarterback and don't let him do anything but hand the ball off to end the game. I don't really count that as experience. If you're doing it, I want to see Angeli do something.
Right. I agree, but I kind of want to see what Minchie can do.
I don't know if that's going to happen, man. He might redshirt. I don't know how much you're going to see him. Angeli's going to get those second string reps, and I am not sure how much of Minchie you're really going to see.
I'm fine not seeing Minchie.
Yeah, and what? Just have him redshirt?
He's going to play if Notre Dame is up. Like, he might play against the HBCU, but because he gets 4 games.
Yeah.
But I think it's about Angeli because let's face it, Hartman's gone next year.
Yep.
You need somebody ready to play. So you got to pick who it's going to be. So I think if Angeli's number 2, they're planning on it being Angeli. So you got to get him ready to play.
Well, now wait a second though. Is there also they could go back to the portal? So they really have to evaluate what they want to do because
can't.
you're going to have Carr that they're going to want a red shirt unless he's just too good that you can't. You're going to have Minchie off the red shirt. Then you're going to have Angeli, and then they're going to have the option to go into the portal if they need to. So they're going to have to know exactly what they have with these guys, right?
Every time you go to the portal, as much as I like Sam Hartman as a player coming onto this football team, every time you go to the portal, you set your room back. You're going to either lose Angeli or you're going to lose Minchie if you do that, especially with Carr coming in because Carr coming, everyone knows Carr's the guy. He's the guy. You're setting your quarterback room back. At some point, you have to develop this room and keep these players on this roster. You don't want to be in a position where, like Texas, the one year when McElroy blew out his shoulder and he couldn't throw the football in the national championship game, and a freshman quarterback who's never seen the field came in because they had two kids transfer out. I know that's a very obscure reference, but it just popped in my head.
Yeah, but wait, people are saying don't do the portal, but nobody's complaining you got Hartman out of the portal. Or are you saying this is different because there's real talent that could develop behind him, and
there is real talent.
Gotcha.
There is real talent developing.
Yeah, gotcha. Sorry about that, caller. What do you think about that?
I mean, I like both quarterbacks. I've just never really seen either one of them on the field. Well, obviously,
yeah.
But I don't know. Minchie kind of intrigues me a little.
Yeah, and I think he should. And that was a really good pickup, and one that Notre Dame would have been in a rough spot if they didn't get him to flip because they missed out on Dante Moore, and then they needed that guy.
Yeah.
They needed that guy to kind of have a quarterback in that class, and not just anybody, but a good one. And so, yeah, I don't know, man. It's really interesting, but Notre Dame has not had a lot of games where they could truly put in the second string and just let them go. Like, it would be really nice to see tomorrow, wouldn't it? And it'd be nice to see week 2 as well, by the way.
Right, yeah, definitely. Okay, as a Notre Dame fan, what do we do in the worst case scenario if USC and Michigan end up in the national title game?
I'm rooting for USC then. I'm not rooting for Michigan. I would honestly root for USC. That's what I would have to do. And I wouldn't like it and I'd hate myself, but I would have to root for USC. And same thing if Kelly played Michigan in the title game. I'd root for Kelly in that one. I would. And it hurts me to say, but I would.
I agree with the second. Well, I don't like none of those teams.
Yeah, I know.
But I do agree.
I know. And so I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting tomorrow. I want to get a good gauge of where this team's starting from. I want to see how put together they are, how organized they look. I want to see the crispness. I want to see sharpness. I don't want to see sloppy play, clean tackling, not a lot of penalties. Like, I want to see all that stuff tomorrow, man. Like, you are on the nation's TV tomorrow. Everybody's watching you. I want it to be impressive, damn it.
I completely agree, damn it. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for taking my call.
That was a good one. I like that. Nice addition, man. Oh, by the way, man, everybody likes your accent in the chat. They're all digging it. We need more of that. Keep that coming, buddy.
Right. I'm from a little place in Southwest Virginia. But anyway, thank you for taking my call.
No problem, man. Have a good night and enjoy the game tomorrow. We'll be live after the game. Give us a call tomorrow. Have a good one.
Here's the thing, John, before you go to the next one.
Yeah.
If Angeli is your number 2 guy, right? Yeah. If he's your number 2 guy, he hasn't seen the field. I don't think he has it at all. Definitely nothing meaningful. You got Ohio State, USC, and Clemson. Hartman's probably going to get hit in those games. You have to have Angeli ready. So if Minchie is not the guy, he sits on the bench, and Angeli, any chance he's got to take snaps.
Yeah, and I think that is that's a good point, but I want to see Minchie too. I just don't know how many of those opportunities they're going to be.
That's why I think it's the HBCU game.
Yeah,
because Notre Dame should really. I mean, it should be a 60-10 game. It should be a 60-0 game.
And
so
don't get me. Hey, I already got my top couple bullet points for that one, but that's for next week. Let's get through this one first because I have some very strong opinions on that one.
I'm out on
I
that
have
one.
some. I know, but I have some very strong opinions. But we'll deal with that after we get through tomorrow.
As far as I'm concerned, Notre Dame plays 11 games this year.
Yeah. Well,
stupid shit.
I'm not happy about it either. But that is why there's certain things they need to do when you go down this path. We'll get into that for next week. 419, you're on the line. What's going on?
Hey, John, how are you doing?
I am excited, man. This is Christmas Eve for all of our group and everything that we do all through the summer and every show I did, an article I wrote. What could it be? What are we going to see? What's it going to look like? It's all here, man. By this time tomorrow, we're going to know. We're going to have our first data point. We're going to know where we're starting from.
Yeah. Everything, the whole off season has just been total nonsense, and now we are finally to what matters, and that's the game.
Yeah, it's just man, we're at a saturation point. You know, there's the lull in the summer when there's not a lot of football, people are doing their summer stuff. Camp starts and you feel that energy ramp up. We're at a crescendo. We are. People are fatigued. There's just, we're at a level. We just need answers. And we're going to get some tomorrow, man. And Navy's a good test for that because it tests how disciplined you are early. It tests how put together you are early. And it's a very interesting first game. I'm excited.
Yeah. And this is by far the most confidence I've had going into a season I've had in a very long time.
Now, tell me why. Explain to me why. Is it primarily Hartman? Do you feel a lot better about Freeman in year two? Is it better talent we're getting in here? What do you think? What's making you think that?
Well, if you remember, the last time I called in, it was right before the spring game. And I was talking you off the defensive line ledge. And I was talking to you about all the previous defensive linemen from last year. Like, Foskey was really the only one that got drafted. And how I was saying how I think the new set of defensive line that's coming in is longer, and it's the more NFL body types that are coming in. And I just think that even our linebacker play, I think, had a lot to do with, I don't know, the last year's defensive line just did not impress me very much. And I just think that this year's defensive line is going to be so much better that I just think it's going to make our defense that much better. And for some weird reason, I'm confident in the offense just being good. So with that and a great defense, I think we're going to have a great year.
Man, and it's a tough schedule. So if you're going to have a great year, there's not a lot of gimmies, and you got the marquee three. It's going to be interesting. Pat, I think I froze again, but it came back. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. And so, man, I don't know. Anything makes you nervous tomorrow? The first game, the travel, the fact that they have a new coach, he might try and get tricky. They got two quarterbacks. Like, anything that makes you nervous, and you just think Notre Dame should have it tomorrow? Too much talent.
I think we start out slow. I think people are going to be a little disappointed in the very beginning. I think Hartman and the receivers are going to be off just a touch, and I think they are going to play us to stop the run in the beginning. And so I think we'll start out a little slow, but I think our defense picks us up. I think they get the energy going some way. I think Pat's right with the special teams. I think maybe they do something early, maybe set us up with some good field position, and then that kind of gets us going. And I think by halftime, we are liking what we see by the offense. And
hey, man, let me tell you, I got to tell you,
offense is going to move.
I got to tell you, man, week one, the last thing Notre Dame people want is one of those games where Navy's draining the clock on you and it's close and we don't know what's going to happen. Like week one, like, come on, man. Like, I do not want to go down that road. Can we just have a relaxing win the first week? Just my blood pressure needs it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be rainy. I think they're going to be a little slow. I think they're going to be a little off. And I don't think they're going to have very many yards against us at all. So I'm not worried about
that
the
would be
time at all.
that would be a big deal, because even in losses, Navy piles up a lot of yards a lot of times on the ground. Like, I mean, if we're able to shut that down, I'm all for it, man.
Well, we had Kurt Heinisch in the past, and he just basically just stopped the fullback every year. And I think now with Mills going inside, I think we get that back. I think and as long as you stop the fullback against our athletes are so much better on the outside. As long as we stop the fullback, we'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh man, it's somebody put first quarter. Notre Dame's down 3-0. John has a stroke. Yeah, you're probably right. In the first 3 and out, I'm gonna have one too. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be exciting, and I want to believe in all this with the heavy defensive line rotation that everybody feels good about. Veteran linebacking group, and then the one that gets me is everybody's saying this is the best group of cornerbacks Notre Dame's had in 20 years since Montez Duff. And Shane back there. Like, I want to believe in all of this, but I got to see it to believe it, man. I wasn't born yesterday in this Notre Dame life. I got to see it to believe it.
Man, I don't even know if Hart is such an aggressive tackler. I don't even know if I play him in the second half in this game. Wow. I don't want him coming up and hurting that shoulder again. I'd put Antonio Carter out there, maybe even put some safeties up there. I just don't see anything. That's the worst thing that comes out of Navy, right? Is an injury. Right. That's always the worst thing that comes out of Navy, and we don't want that. So I just think that we don't even. I just hate Navy so much. I hate playing them. I just do.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm glad it's the first game of the year, and I don't have to think about it ever again.
It is my least favorite Notre Dame game to watch every year without fail, and it's just because I hate the way they make you play the game. I hate the way it looks. It just drives me nuts, and I don't like it. I don't like the injury risk. I don't like how they play. I don't like how Pat was saying in the beginning of the program, if you beat them, you get no credit because it's just Navy. And if you lose to them, your life's over because you just lost to Navy. There's no benefit there of playing them. We just need to stay healthy, get a solid win, and then move on and do it again next week. That's the goal.
Yeah. And I also think one of the most exciting things going into the season is, do you remember last year when we lost to Marshall? And we were all saying, oh, we're losing every one of our commits. Nobody's going to come. Everyone's gone. And those receivers tweeted out, wait until we get there next year. And then, everybody kind of just put that to ease. We didn't have to worry about the commits going anywhere. I am so excited for, Jaden Greathouse and those guys with that mentality coming from those big high school programs, pushing that wide receiver thing. I don't think you keep Jaden Greathouse off this field.
Yeah.
I do agree that Chris Tyree is going to be a huge weapon. But, man, I think we're going to see a lot of 4 wide receiver sets tomorrow, honestly, to tell you the truth.
They're going to have mismatches. They're going to have mismatches out there. It's just a matter of if they trust some of these lesser known entities like the 2 freshmen and Merriweather, and they have a lot to prove. Do they trust them right off the bat? But if you can't get it going in the passing game against Navy, it didn't get any easier,
No. And just lighten up the box for Big Boy. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Jeez. What he had to deal with last year. And I remember earlier today, your caller was talking about how nobody talked about Logan Diggs in the offseason last year. And look what he did. Nobody talked about him in the offseason because he was hurt the entire offseason. He didn't even practice until Ohio State week.
Right.
So that's why nobody talked about him. And those guys are running into 9-man boxes almost the entire year last year. You just get those guys spread out and let Audric eat.
Yeah, there's no winning there, because if Navy plays Notre Dame straight up, Notre Dame's going to win those mismatches. If they back up and play pass defense, Audrick's going to pound him. And if they stack the line to stop him, Hartman's going to pick him apart. It should be a no-win situation for Navy, no matter what they want to do defensively.
I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It should be interesting. Anything else? Thanks for the call, man. It's been a while.
No, it has been a while. I work hard in the summer. I love listening to your content. I'm glad, you told the story about your friend before the show. And I think that adds, the realness of the show and the authenticity of you and how you're a fan. And it's like no other show out there. Because it comes from the heart. The show comes from like how much you love Notre Dame. And it's great. And you let us have an outlet, and it's just amazing. It's a great family and a great situation you've started here. And I'm just glad you've done it.
Man, I really appreciate that. That means a lot. Thank you very much. This show is all from the heart. That's why I get so worked up. I take all this personally, and so does my family, and so does Pat. Like, it's who we are. And we have a really good group here. And I wanted to be the show that talks how the fans feel and gives you guys a voice. So I appreciate the kind words. Thanks for calling, man.
Yep. Thanks. And go Irish.
Go Irish. Have a good one. Call me on the post-game show tomorrow. Oh, Pat, what are you looking all weird at?
So, I don't know if you saw it. Adam Dowling put it in there. 3 people were shot in the White Sox game today in the ballpark. There's a shooting in the ballpark.
When he said there was a shooting,
I thought he meant outside.
Well,
no,
when
this is inside. This is in section 162.
When he said a shooting, my first thought was, yeah, the car in front of me, the lady died and got shot when I left.
Right, you were that one.
Game. We were both on the ramp, and she got in the white car and got shot, and I was in the car behind her. That doesn't surprise me. How do you get that in the game, though?
You have to go through metal detectors.
Yeah, you have to go through. Oh, my. Wow. Anyways, that's rough.
Mind.
That's rough. Pat, anything else? We went a full 2 hours. We got a bunch of calls in. Like, I liked the pace.
Yeah,
it's
good.
a better pacing, but to have the pacing, I got to have 20 people who want to call too.
Yeah, that's true. Predictions?
Yeah, I forgot what I wrote in Irish Wire the other day. It was, I think, 45, 42, 17, 38, 17, something in that ballpark.
Yeah, I'm at 45-3. 45-3.
Wow, you only got them scoring 3?
Well, look at the history of the first game. You talked about this.
7-3 the last 3 years. That's all they've scored.
Yeah. I don't think they get a touchdown. 45-3.
Wow.
And I think you get a couple defensive scores. You get some scores on the ground, some scores through the air. I think it'd be a good game. I like to see everyone else's predictions. I know people have been putting them in there, but
yeah,
63-3. That's a high number. That's gonna be hard to get to.
Yeah, you're gonna need pick sixes, block, punt, and all your offense to get up to that number.
82-4.
83. I'm gonna say this. Man, I like the energy here, man. This week, we've really picked up. People are more engaged. They're calling. They're donating. I want to thank everybody who donated, and I'm going to go over them again just to make sure I don't miss them. Dino Bambino, Chief Brody, Dino again, Cody Stanfield, Brian New York, Andrew Gilmore, Wicked Bronco. BBG should be the coach, which gets me every week. Tom Frawley, who is the good Chicago caller. Chief Brody again, Nick. Just ND Gal, great to have her calling again and reconnect and hear her voice. BBG should be the coach. Ryan Roll, Brian Kelly's caddy, who accidentally donated 4 times. I appreciate that. Domer Wap, Josh Miller, Phil, Kevin Elliott, Erica, everybody. Beautiful. What, Pat?
He accidentally donated 4 times.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. It's Google's fault, man. Anyways, Pat, let's share with people the plan tomorrow. We're going to ease into the game. We're not going to do a pregame show. This is kind of it. And so everybody relax, watch the game. And then we're going to start the call-in show 1 minute after the game
1
ends.
minute after.
I may get the stream live, like with a minute or two left in the game, and get it going, and walk around and get stuff set up, and then we'll be off going. I'll put out a link late in the fourth quarter. I'll put a link on Twitter so everybody can see it and know we have that coming. But I'm excited to see what that's like. 1 minute after the game, we're going live. We're doing this again, and we're taking your calls.
And we're going to you and I will do our analysis, and then we'll quickly, like kind of we did today, and then we'll go to the callers, right?
Yeah, we want to do from now on, like Friday and then the post games. We want them to be about you. So we're going to make sure we prioritize the callers and make it, we're going to give our thoughts, and my initial thing, his, and then we're going to see what everybody thinks. So that's going to be it, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. Have a couple cold ones and go to sleep dreaming of Notre Dame football winning. It's beautiful, man. Pat, thanks for being the co-host,
Always,
man.
brother.
I really appreciate it.
Always.
It's a great show, man. Thanks for being here, everybody. Have a good one.